The FZ-09 kickstarted this trend when it was introduced in 2014, and 3 years later receives its first significant updates. Although the 120-degree crossplan crank 3-cylinder engine and controlled fill die-cast aluminum chassis remained the same, many of the features introduced on the new FZ-10 have trickled down. Thus the 2017 FZ-09 boasts ABS, traction control, and an assist-in slipper clutch, plus there's an optional YZF-R1 drive quick shifter. While they were at it, the engineers upgraded the FZ's 41mm kibe fork, giving it a full range of adjustability, plus 83% firmer compression damping in its standard setting. Bottoming under braking is no longer an issue. The 2017 FZ-09 also receives new FZ-10-inspired styling featuring a dual headlight with quad LED lamps, restyled plastic front and rear, a new muffler cover, a swing arm-mounted single-sided license plate bracket, and a LED taillight. Last, the seat is now flatter and 5mm higher at the front to reduce a, sometimes painful, tendency for riders to slide into the gas tank. The boys say thanks for that. To show off these improvements, Yamaha invited the press corps to spend a full day riding in Southern California's famed Santa Monica Mountains, and they didn't say fake news once. Challenging on the best of days, the area's serpentine backroads were made even more so by this winter's incessant rains, and yet the FZ-09 took everything in stride. You don't fully appreciate ABS or traction control until you come around a blind corner and find the road strewn with dirt from a mudslide or a wash in running water. The ABS is preset, but the TC has 3 positions, 1, 2, and off, and there are also 3 ride modes, A, B, and Standard, for the YCCT ride-by-wire throttle. We spent most of the day riding in A1 and found that to offer exhilarating performance and an acceptable safety margin, hooligans and motorcyclists Ari Henning will rejoice in the fact that the FZ is still capable of wheeling in the least obtrusive TC setting, and will also do stopies if you don't snatch at the brake lever too hard. So the rider aids don't intrude on the fun. The new seat is much more comfortable, especially for long-legged riders, and the revised suspension works great until you start to push the pace. Then, the rear end moves around a bit, creating something of a hobby horse effect, worse if you tip the scales at 200+ pounds. We ramped up the shock spring preload and dialed in a little more rebound damping, and the ride was much more composed. The original 2014 FZ-09 was marred by snatchy throttle response, and while that improved over the last 2 years, this year it's really good. All 3 847cc triples, the FZ, FJ and XSR, now share the same mapping and it's nigh on perfect. Between that and the new assist-in slipper clutch, pulling away from a standstill or splitting lanes for miles on end, as we did at the end of our day, is painless.